Good Monday morning, everyone. This is Mitch. Hopefully, you guys are having a great start to your Monday, a great start to your work week. I know Monday mornings typically kick a lot of people's butts. Not everybody's, but I know a lot of people it does. So hopefully, you guys are waking up with a positive mindset and having a great start to your week. I was successful in not punching my alarm clock this morning. I always have my alarm clock set for, believe it or not, about 3:30 a.m. If I'm able to get up and wake up at that time frame, I'm having a great start to whatever day it is. But a lot of times I let it go to about 4 a.m., sometimes 4:30, and then sometimes I don't even wake up. But I woke up this morning and I'm feeling good, so hopefully you guys are too. So in this video, we're going to talk about weather specifically for today. There is going to be severe weather. There's an enhanced risk up still, and we talked about that last night. For today, that is between now and tomorrow morning. And really the severe weather threat's going to ramp up overnight tonight, really this evening into overnight tonight, into the wee hours of the morning for your Tuesday morning. At the very end of the video, we're also going to briefly mention the fact that there is going to be severe weather tomorrow, maybe even probably a higher level of severity is what I'm trying to say. An enhanced risk up for Tuesday, and there's an enhanced risk up for your Wednesday. So stay tuned for tonight's video. We're going to discuss tomorrow and Wednesday and the rest of the week a lot more in depth. So if you guys have not subscribed, definitely consider doing that. Like the video if you like it. The growth in the slower times, relatively speaking, is always important. So I appreciate people who continue to tune in. Hit me up on social media. I love interacting with you guys. Twitter, Facebook, especially Twitter. I'm very big on that. And if you guys, more importantly, have anything I can pray about, please put in the comments below. It gives me an opportunity to pray over it. Gives others an opportunity to do so too. So we can all look out for one another and always glorify God doing it. So let's get going here. Let's get rocking and rolling. Enhanced risk up, still up. Well, I was talking about this last night. If you watched last night's video, this is a level 3 out of 5. So this is in place between now and Tuesday morning around 7 a.m., whatever your time frame is. But just think of it as Tuesday morning, and then the next time frame starts for your Tuesday. But enhanced risk up, and this is really a damaging wind driven enhanced risk, a 30% risk of damaging winds occurring in 25 miles at any given point in this 30% risk area. And then you got the 15% risk area also around it. Normally when you have an enhanced risk up, that's when it comes to tornadoes, it's normally a 10% risk, but only a 5% risk. So this tells me this is a damaging wind-driven enhanced risk. But there is going to be a tornado threat overnight tonight. And I'm going to mention this threat a little bit more in this evening's video because it'll be right at the beginning of this ramping up. But a 5% risk of a tornado in 25 miles at any given point in this 5% risk area. So watch out overnight. The low-level jet starts to get ramped up. Those wind profiles begin to become more supportive for tornadic activity in this area overnight tonight, which makes it more dangerous. There is a hail threat, especially at the beginning of this risk area where supercells really begin to form. Lapse rates are definitely more supportive with cooler air aloft for some big-time hail in central and north central Texas for sure. So let's get going here. Let's look at the HRRR model. I'm going to briefly talk about temperature. Stay with me. If you're worried about severe weather, I'm going to break it down a little bit more than what I just did. But temperatures today are going to be nice and warm. If you're anywhere from Texas, Louisiana, Arkansas, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, the Carolinas, 70s in general, some 80s definitely are possible. Once you get into the Mid-Atlantic, finally you guys are starting to warm up. Not the Mid-Atlantic, the Ohio Valley and the Mid-Atlantic. You guys are starting to warm and generally up into the 50s and 60s. So that covers all those states that I just mentioned. But the Northeast is still pretty chilly. New York, Boston, for example, still in the 50s and 40s for high temperatures. So we'll have to watch this. But, you guys are finally, on average, are starting to finally lose that grip of winter. But for sure, you guys are still cool up here in this region. So as far as precipitation, this morning you have a lot of moisture up here in Michigan, Wisconsin. You go a little bit further up in Michigan, this is falling in the form of snow. But the HRRR model keeps it rolling here, and you guys are going to have some showers in Kentucky here in the morning hours, maybe a little bit of shower activity in southern areas of Missouri, northern areas of Arkansas, maybe a little bit of showers in Oklahoma, Ohio also. And this will continue, but definitely not a big-time weather day in these areas I just mentioned. But obviously, as you're going through here in the later in the evening and afternoon hours, some supercells will begin to form. How quickly do they congeal into a line of storms really tells us how bad the severe weather threat's going to be here in Texas and southwest Oklahoma and southern areas of Oklahoma as you're getting going through your evening hours. But let's go on and look at a closer look at this, okay? So this is the latest long-range HRRR model. Let's see what we got here, and let's go on and get this in motion. This is around really, 5, 6, 7 p.m. I never give you an exact time frame as far as an hour because it's always give or take an hour with this. So this is for this afternoon, this evening. You have some showers and big time storms starting to develop here in areas of northern Texas, north central Texas, and then areas of southern Oklahoma, especially southwest Oklahoma. And you see this big cell right here in southern Oklahoma beginning to form, but quickly this will begin to kind of congeal into a line of storms. So you're starting to get close to 10, 11 p.m. You're starting to have some nasty thunderstorms knock on the doorstep of Dallas-Fort Worth area, northern areas of Texas right into here. You guys could have some hail, some damaging winds is going to be the biggest threat with these storms. And these will really make a ruckus, especially if you're just starting to go to sleep. But as you're starting to get into past midnight, around midnight onward, these begin to become a big deal in eastern Texas, and this is when the tornado threat becomes kind of a factor here as we're getting going. There could be some sales down here in southern areas of Texas, and then there could be some ongoing convection still as you're getting past midnight around Dallas Point south. But really, you watch this, and let's go on and look at the next frame here as we're getting going here in time. These cells will begin to continue to move through Louisiana. Northern Louisiana, there's going to be a tornado threat and a damaging wind threat overnight. Once you get into Arkansas, this becomes more of just a heavy rain threat. And there could be a lot of heavy rain. A few inches could fall overnight into Arkansas, southern areas of Arkansas, central Arkansas, as we're getting into overnight tonight. Northern Louisiana, I'm talking about 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, all throughout the early wee hours of the morning time frame. You guys could have a tornado threat, but damaging wind threat is going to be the biggest. This will continue to move into Mississippi as you're getting closer to sunrise, but still it's about 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning here as your Central Standard Time, and then more so just heavy rain up here in northern Mississippi, up here towards Memphis, Tennessee, and then eastern areas of Arkansas. But the further south you get with it's just always the case with any severe weather threat, the more of the severity levels that begin to increase with the severe weather. So once you get down here, you get more heavy rain, more embedded rotating storms, you get damaging winds that become an issue. And then I'll stop it right here because at this point you get into the day 2 risk area, which is for your Tuesday, which is for tomorrow. But you see this Boeing segment of a line moving through. This is going to make a big time ruckus with some severe thunderstorms here, 3rd or 4th week in a row. Heck, I've done lost count. At least 3 weeks in a row in Mississippi for severe weather. This is going to be a nasty line of storms. It's going to be kind of awaking you guys up for your Tuesday morning commute. So be careful if you're in southern areas of Mississippi, Baton Rouge, New Orleans area, even getting into Alabama. It's going to be a messy commute, and then we start to get into Tuesday, and I'll start to break down this a little bit more tonight. But heavy rain, there's going to be a lot of rain that falls between now and Tuesday morning around 6, 7, 8 a.m. Here in northern and northeast areas of Texas, areas of Oklahoma, also areas of northern Louisiana, southern Arkansas, central Arkansas. Between now and tomorrow morning, you guys could see anywhere from a ½ inch to 2, 3 inches of rain. And I'm sure someone's going to get 3 inches of rain, depending on how much training happens with these thunderstorms going over the same areas. So we need to watch out here. Severe weather is going to be a hot topic here, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more tonight. As far as temperatures out west, still pretty warm in the southwest, but you guys are starting to have a system to start to move in to the Pacific Northwest, which will actually be the system that is going to end up being a factor later in the week for our Wednesday and Thursday severe weather threat in the south and eastern U.S. in general. But this is actually just starting to move into the western coast here and the Pacific Northwest, as this is going to be a big time upper trough that digs down with a deepening low pressure associated with it. And this is why you have the cooler temperatures in the northwest compared to the southwest, because rain cooled air, moisture cooled air starting to move in. So highs in the Southwest, in the 90s and 70s, getting a little bit cooler here in the valley areas. But once you get up here, valleys only reaching the 40s, higher mountaintops, obviously, that's why it's always difficult to talk about the weather in the Western U.S. because everybody has a microclimate due to the fact that everybody lives at different elevations. But a nice day in the Midwest, the upper Midwest, rising all the way into the 60s and 70s. Of course, you always have that boundary setting up across the Dakotas. So in this situation, you'll be warmer in the western Dakotas, warmer in the eastern areas of Montana and Wyoming, and definitely along the Front Range points east in the plains of Colorado in the 60s and close to the 70s. For sure, you guys are warming up. But you can see this big time system moving into the Pacific Northwest. Here, you got snow in the higher elevations. The snow levels are actually going to be a little bit lower. So you're going to have snow falling at much more lower snow levels, depending on what your elevation is. Depends on what falls. But in the valleys, still a lot of rain could fall. And this is a big time system entering here, and a lot of moisture that's going to be flying around Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming as you get later in the time period, overnight tonight into Tuesday morning. But let's go on and briefly talk about tomorrow. There's an enhanced risk up, pretty large enhanced risk up also. And this is driven by a tornado risk and damaging wind. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this tonight. But this is a pretty large enhanced risk. And really the western areas of this enhanced risk is really for the early time period, for really Tuesday morning. But once you get into tomorrow afternoon, this really becomes a factor for you folks in central Georgia. Even Atlanta's got a slight risk. Columbia's got a slight risk, but Columbus, Georgia, Charleston, Savannah, under an enhanced risk. And, the tornado risk is getting on up there. 10% risk of a tornado, 25 miles in any given location in this area. This is going to be a messy storm mode. You're not going to have isolated probably supercells or anything like this. This is going to be a mesoscale convective system, meaning a Boeing line of storms that's going to be moving through here with embedded rotation, embedded spin-ups, and that's why you're going to have an elevated big-time damaging wind risk, a 30% risk stretching all the way from a very small section of Debut to Louisiana, stretching through southern Mississippi, south-central Alabama, and central areas and southern areas of Georgia, and then southern areas of South Carolina. The damaging wind threat's going to be real with this. Hail threat not as large, but anywhere supercells do form, 15% risk. So we'll take a quick look at the latest HRRR model of what's going on here. And as you can tell, we get into this time frame. I'll briefly show it. Boeing segment of a line of storms with embedded rotation in it that's going to promote a tornado threat in Alabama and Georgia. And then you watch into South Carolina where some heavy rain moves through. Heavy rain always seems like something I always forget to mention, but a flooding risk is going to be there. This is going to be beneficial rain, but you're going to get severe weather with it also. But how much do you have a line of storms here? The NAM looks a little bit different. I'll compare and contrast models tonight. But getting through here in the afternoon, evening time frame of tomorrow, you got some pretty nasty storms and heavy rain, more importantly, moving through these sections of the Carolinas and Georgia, South Carolina and Georgia. So we'll talk a little bit more about this tonight. Tonight will be a bigger video, so stay tuned. If you really want to know what's going on, I know I have a lot of followers in the Southeast who are really going to be wanting to know about Tuesday for sure. It's going to be affecting a lot of people in here in the South. So God bless everybody. Make today great, guys. Hope you guys have a great day. And God bless everybody.